parts of programming versus the constructing part of it, I would have to say that they're equally worthy or equally accredited. I mean, so look at it this way. If we have a robot that doesn't have a program to run officially, it doesn't have a function, it's more so an object, so it doesn't serve a purpose.
I think teamwork is very important because when you're a part of a team, it gives you an opportunity to use other people's skills as an asset that you maybe don't have, and it also opens the table for more opinions and diversity in your group, which is good. I don't think it's too difficult. I've had previous robotics history though, and the different things that you can do, versus that, I found they did more of the programming and construction.
Before this, I haven't had any robotics.
So this is the first?
Anything. I mean, my school didn't have anything to do with robotics or any sort of promotion for it or saying, here's an opportunity, if you want, you can go do it. It was it's one of those things where if you wanted to learn robotics, you did it all on your own.
Well, it was a lot more high stakes than this because it was first competition, so there was a bajillion rules, all sorts of different competition, that you had to make sure your robot performed different tasks and stuff. So that was overwhelming. Compared to this, it's a lot more toned down, a lot more casual, so it's easier to want to get into it, have that hands-on experience, versus if you mess up on a rule, you're disqualified, your whole team. You just wasted tons of money, time, so it's a lot easier to get into.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's got a single objective, whereas say you have a robot that's got to perform multiple functions, it's more stressful because it's not just you have to figure out one thing, you have to figure out everything, and then you have to figure out how to combine everything together and make it as a whole.
If you have a poorly constructed robot, programming does nothing for you. And the same thing, if you have a poor program, doesn't matter how well built your robot is, you're not going to be able to get there.
It gives people an opportunity to decide if they want to take part in maybe engineering, or it gives them some experience in the field.
I was in First Robotics Club in high school, and I was not very involved in programming. I was more construction, so programming's interesting because I'd like to learn both aspects.
Robots are very cool. What I do as a CNC manufacturer is I work consistently with robots to manufacture parts. As technology progresses, just in user end products, you are going to have an understanding of automation. That's part of electrical engineering. More and more there is no more just standard mechanical interface. You're going to have to know robotics in the field. So it's extremely important to have these styles of projects in this style of class for the engineering field as a total, I do believe. I do believe that you'll have a better understanding because it's a very digestible way to get you into robotics. It's very simple with the motors and the limit switches and building the structure, and then just the style of programming that we do, just drag and drop. Like I said, it's very simple.
Especially as an engineer, you have to know how to work on a team because very seldom will you just be doing an individual project.
Really good communication is definitely important in teamwork. It certainly was kind of interesting, challenging at the beginning to figure out how to solve the different problems. I think it's appropriately scaled for what we're doing.
And I also think most of it is communication. If you just taking everyone's ideas and then trying to implement it, and put it into the robot, and then discussing if you see a problem and then trying to change it to make it better. It's just all about communication. If you're not very good at communicating, then it's going to be hard to make your robot better.
I just like really learning, and right now I'm not even an engineer or major or anything, but this class has got me more interested in it.
I think it's a very interesting class, and it gets me motivated to learn more about engineering in general. Yeah, I think this class does a good job at kind of engaging both sides. We definitely get hands-on experience, kind of figuring out if this is what we want to do or not.
I didn't really have any experience programming because that was kind of my role on the team was program the robot. So I just kind of did the tutorial, and the tutorial was very descriptive and detailed. So I think you don't really have that much experience necessary to do this.
I think that this class is very helpful for other engineering courses because it makes you understand the whole process between design, development, and it incorporates pretty much everything that I use in all my other engineering courses. My programming course for programming the robots, or each person has their own mindset about how something should be ran, doesn't mean it's the right way. And because you have other people putting input into your project, school programs don't usually offer up this kind of stuff, especially in like high school. Or everything is going into robotics, and not only just robotics, but there's certain aspects about robotics that every other thing is kind of branching off.
You're learning stuff about not just one type of engineering, like multiple type of engineering. Like this simple stuff we're learning how to program, teamwork, what else, constructing. It's not just one thing they're learning in this class, they're learning multiple things, so yeah.
Programming is not that hard, it's just like learning a new language, just like that.
Showing up on time is part of being a team, doing your part, trying to help in every way that you can, so definitely teamwork is important to me.
I think an open workshop would allow people to express themselves without having the pressure of like getting the best grade, and they'd be able to have fun with it instead of being constantly stressed about deadlines and things like that.
I think that inspiration would truly flow when you don't have requirements that you're going off of. It's just what you truly want.
Like all modern designs nowadays are built by a team. It's really hard for an individual to do something that's really outstanding. By teamwork, you can share ideas and you can have different skill sets that all go towards a common goal.
From this course, I basically know about that how to do work in teamwork and how a problem can be solved by a team effort.
I mean, I wouldn't be in this course unless I enjoyed doing it, building stuff, programming.
Without programming, we can't make the construction successful.
At first, you think it'd be hard, but it got easier as it went on because we got to know each other and we had better understandings of our goal and we were able to achieve it easier. So,
programming is something like you keep practicing and you keep learning how all the functions and those stuff works. So I don't think that it's really hard. If you keep practicing, you will be better at it.
One thing I like about robotics, you always see a different robot. It doesn't matter what the challenge is, you'll always come across a different design. Robotics is starting to become more into our industry for work and everything, and it's coming soon that pretty soon robots will be starting to do a lot of the jobs that humans do nowadays and help out with harder things that humans can't do. Robotics is a growing field of work and more people need to know about it. Seeing kids learning about the robotics programs and everything from ages 5 to 18 is amazing because kids get more and more interested and want to be in that field of work.
We get a lot of different sort of ideas popping up in everyone's head. So with a lot of ideas, we can get good stuff going. I mean, with a lot of ideas, there are a lot of different prospect of every individual, and then we can apply that to our robot and then make a good one. I mean, teamwork is the most important thing. I mean, we're able to bring develop our robot for about 2 weeks. We could do that in 2 weeks. Almost it was completed. So that's what if if all the members of the group put their hands together and then work properly, then they can come with a really brilliant idea. I mean, so it's looking good, everything so far. Robotics is something that has a huge role in the future. So it's the best thing you can ask for. So you're doing a good job. I mean, by doing that. No, it's not hard because you get to if you were doing this on your own, then it would be hard. But as you can do on a group, and then there is a group involvement in it. There are different ideas, and then everyone put their individual ideas, and then we can come with the beautiful things like this. So I don't think it's hard. Well, every member of the group needs to contribute, and then you can build a better project or better robot.
It's something that we wouldn't expect as a new student, especially as a freshman, or even as a sophomore. But yeah, I think it's interesting enough, but not hard enough. No, I don't think it's hard. I think programming, like any other subject or any other course, if you put in enough time for it, it shouldn't be. It's not really hard. It just depends on the amount of time you put into it. Okay, so it'd be easier for somebody who's been programming for a long time or who puts in enough interest into it. But someone who's starting probably like the rest of us, it seems a bit more complicated than it should be. But I don't think it's something difficult. So I just think the amount of time you put into it will help you. The robot is nothing without the program. The program is basically, well, for the robot, except you're building a software. But if you're building a robot, I think the program is essential. The framework is essential, and that's where computer engineers come into. You see, the relationship between the hardware and the software, both of them are quite necessary. So I think the program is just as necessary as the hardware. When people hear robots, they think it's something like Transformers or Iron Man or something like that. Now, letting people know that it's not something hard, it's not something complicated, I think it's a good idea. And people wouldn't go for something like that if it was charged. If I meet someone who's going to take the class next semester, obviously they're going to have that same reaction if they hear something like that. I just tell them, you're not actually, the programming aspect for one, you're not actually doing the raw programming from scratch. You have visual aids and several objects in the software to help it make it easier. That's one. And then the hardware, you're not really going to have welding and all that into it. No, you're just basically screwing in 1 or 2 bolts into it. So just try to make it easier for them. Yeah, that's basically what I'll do to reduce the level of complication. Because I remember the first day when they told us we were building a robot, the first thing that came to my mind was Iron Man. I love Iron Man.